Welcome back to Project Driveway. I'm Jake.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to a new season. There's a chill in the air and a patchy beard on my face, so it must mean one thing.
It is winter.
It is winter. And today we're going to lead you through 7-ish things to prep your car for winter. So if you haven't done them yet and you're looking at some colder weather coming your way, follow along. And if it's already snowing where you are, it's time to catch up.
Let's do it. Let's start with the basics. Fluids, we've got engine oil, coolant, brake fluid, and then the air filter. For fluids, it's important that you keep them changed so that you've got the right viscosity, things are properly lubricated, and especially if you live where the temperature gets below freezing, you wanna make sure you've got actual antifreeze in your cooling system. If you're just running straight water and it goes below 32, you're probably gonna crack a block, maybe at best pop a freeze plug.
Let's talk tires, arguably your most effective weapon against snow and ice when you're driving. In colder temperatures, summer and all-season compounds get a lot harder and a lot less effective at gripping. What snow tires do is they remain much softer and give you a lot better grip in colder conditions. Consider having 2 sets, one for summer or rainy conditions and one for colder, snowier temperatures. We also need to talk about pressures. You obviously want to keep your tires at the correct pressure, and you also want to be able to check the tread. You can use a penny. I think the new rule has to cover the head on a quarter. I don't know. Use your best judgment. If they're bald or even getting there, change it and get yourself a nice digital tire gauge. The little stick ones don't do anything.
Coupled with a good battery, your ignition system is another really important thing to check. Your spark plugs and your wires. You can check your coils, your wires, pull a spark plug, see how she's doing, and if it's not in great shape, replace them.
Like Chris mentioned with making sure your ignition system is in tip-top shape, it all starts with your battery. So there's a couple things to take note of here. First, hopefully you have an idea of how old the battery is. As they get to the end of their lifespan, they start losing cells. You start noticing longer, harder starts. If it's a couple years old, you might want to consider replacing it or at least taking it to an auto parts store and getting it tested. Another thing to take note of is the terminals. Look for any heavy corrosion. That might be a sign that the battery is on its way out. Check the cables for any, exposed wiring or loose insulation. Just make sure they're in good health. And then another thing you want to take note of is actually a rating on top of your battery. It's your cold cranking amp rating. It's basically a rating of how easily that battery is going to be able to start your car in colder temperatures. It's rated for about 0 degrees Fahrenheit. If you live in a climate where it's consistently below freezing, you might want to consider upgrading your battery to something with a bit more cold cranking amps.
An easily forgotten but very important item would be your wipers. Especially if you're in a rainy or snowy climate, you don't want nasty old cracked streaky blades on your car. Throw some new ones on there. Make sure you can see. Visibility is important. We love her. A couple ways to spot a bad wiper. The easiest one would be if your blade itself has detached from the arm. If you got a lot of streaks coming across the windshield, skipping, stuttering, otherwise not clear view, not a smooth swept surface, just throw some new ones on there. They're not that expensive and maybe you'll avoid a crash. Hand in hand with the wipers themselves would be the windshield washer fluid. So just like your engine's coolant, if you live in an area that gets regularly below freezing temperatures, you want to make sure that you've got stuff in there that's not going to freeze and crack your reservoir. A product such as this one that goes down to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit will not freeze, number one, and can also help you de-ice the windshield in the morning if it's actually iced over.
Your belts and hoses are different rubber accessories. If they're cracked or if they're worn, the cold weather is just gonna exacerbate that, and you don't want to end up stranded somewhere with a busted radiator hose or a sheared accessory belt or something like that. Something like this, like the upper radiator hoses on Chris's Accord here, they're kind of looking a little suspect. There's some bulging around the actual clamps and things like that. When it comes to belts, you want to take a look for anything with, any visible cracks, any chunks missing, any visible actual strings within the belts themselves. That's a serious indicator that it is time to get that belt off the car and get a new one on.
Let's talk illumination. We've already talked about how your windshield wipers can help you see. Well, how about your light bulbs? Headlights, low beam, high beam, turn signal, brake lights,
Just make sure your lighting system is in good operation. Replace any dead bulbs. Obviously, you should be doing that anyway. If they're foggy or, just not clear, they're yellowing, consider maybe buying a polishing kit from like a major auto parts store, or maybe just consider replacing the entire assembly itself. You want to make sure you've got every bit of visibility you can get out there. So if you're on the verge of cold weather, make sure your car is best prepared to handle it. And if you're looking at snow, get some winter tires on before it's too late. But if you're anywhere where it's already snowed and you haven't done any of this,
Better luck next year.
just pack it up. Just come back. We'll try it again some other time. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Good luck out there.
Good luck out there. A fucking snow elf is gonna come attack you if you don't buy